at this.
Microsoft Teams has officially took a dive.
Well, sorry for Microsoft Teams.
Oh, no.
Timmy.
Hey, what you got there, guy?
That's beautiful little pink Killshot. This is not CGI. This is a real
Did you
thing.
know that if you carry one of these around and you carry on luggage, they sure will stop you and ask you about it?
Yeah, I bet they will. I bet
Yeah.
they'll ask you a lot of things if you bring this and carry on luggage.
Yeah, they sure did.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Tech Tuesday. My name is Ben.
I'm Tim.
And we're back. Tim has been doing a little R&D for the last few weeks. It's really cool to have him back in the States. And he brought back a little souvenir. I know I've put this on social media a couple times, but this is happening, by the way.
I straight up early released it. Somebody was talking about it. I just posted it. I was like, what are you going to do, yell at me?
I know. So this is really cool. We've got a ton of questions to get into. A lot of them are very, I don't know. They're very good questions. I was going to say they're all very important, or some of them are very important, but they're all very important because we do this for the people.
See, now you're taking my tagline from my new Killshot series of videos.
Dude, you can't say that out loud.
I can say that.
There it is.
am making some videos on every system. So I'm going through one at a time, introducing the system and what it does, talking about the wiring harness and all the little connections, and then do an old install on the whole thing, the painful, long format of this wire goes here because of this reason. This goes here because of that reason. This does this because of these reasons. I'm going to do a street tune, going to do a dyno tune, and save the tune file. So if you got a similar build, we'll probably be able to find you whatever I did with that calibration file floating around on the interweb somewhere, and with an obvious disclaimer.
Right.
And it'll be okay.
Well, that's one of the things that Tim did while he was gone. There's a lot of those videos that he's recorded that I'm going to be helping to edit together. And we'll be out soon. That's a question that we've been asked, and you guys have asked many times, so we're going to get those going very soon, and I'm excited about that. I think it will, I don't know. It's always helpful to see it in real life when you're explaining something to me. And so I think that'll be very helpful for everybody else as well. I'm sure the team concurs as well. But without further ado, why you clicked on this video, we'll jump into question 1.
Anthony's Resurrection Garage. Definitely need an in-depth tour on using advanced tuning software, please, and thank you.
Did come a second ago.
Did you not watch the beginning of the video before you posted this many days ago? Wait, that's not fair.
No, this goes out today. We're recording this today. It goes out today. Pink Killshot.
No, yeah, we're that's something that now that I've got more tech guys, I've got a dyno, we've got several vehicles. Might even try to get some of the local customers we have around here to come around to do some of that good stuff, fun stuff. And we're going to take some rips on a dyno, but one of the major things I want to do is, as I'm adding more videos to the tech stuff, is we're going to be touching on a whole lot of tuning vidges, advanced tuning software, and what the new advanced tuning software looks. I added something real spicy into the new stuff that I think everybody's going to get a great kick out of.
Question number 2. Tool Review 7464 says, would really like to see a transmission tuning video on my jackpot system. It has a brutal 1-2 shift, and my line pressure is insanely high on a 4L60E. Man, I'm really glad we did this little intro thing that about what's to come and what we've been working on these past couple of weeks. More specifically, you.
You know, it's funny, the transmission tuning video, I'm actually making a tech document. I've started on it today about every parameter in the tuning software and what it means, its definition. And I'm also going to put together a sweet math formula that's going to give you the tire size to gear ratio and what the VSS correction should be by the math. So you can go ahead and just do a bit of basic algebra and then take that value and throw it into your handheld, and you probably won't have to do very much VSX correction cruising up and down the road. So you'll actually have a ready to go, hit the button and send it. But when it comes to this 1-2 brutal line pressure situation right here, One thing you need to make sure is that you got the right 4L60 selected. If you put in like the 175 or whatever,
that's a big deal.
That actually, I mean, it'll kind of rearrange your teeth whenever it kicks you.
Yeah, that's actually
but
a big deal.
I am going to be showing this particular transmission tuning stuff rolling on the dyno because I'll be able to track all the torque of the thing itself for those shift points, and I'm going to show in the tuning software what I'm adjusting and then what the graphic looks like on the dyno about how much nastiness is putting down.
Right. And also on those tech documents, we are implementing a section on our website that you can actually go down and read all of the documents that Tim is currently in the process of making, which is really cool because it gives you a little bit more, for all of you nerds out there, a little bit more reading material as to how these systems work. So if you're not just putting them on, or if you're putting these on for a bunch of people, those are going to be very helpful for others to read, or if you're getting into the realm of EFI. So
yeah,
if you're new to that.
Resurrection Garage, another one. This one is fairly fresh, 17 hours ago. Doesn't the Killshot Advanced Tuning software have a copy to base option where it automatically changes the base map from its learned fuel trims? Nope, doesn't do it. And the reason why. The VE values in the main table mean different things depending on what the cubic inches of displacement is, and then some other linear coefficient math if you're going to get into that. So 75 VE here may mean 75 VE something different in another cubic inches of displacement. So what we run into is we modify with our learning table with milliseconds of pulse width instead of percentage VE. That way that it's easier to calculate those values, and it's actually a little bit faster. Now you can go through and add that back to the table, but we didn't really see a lot of need to do a copy to base because of the way we average out our learning table. It would make peaks and valleys in really weird spots, and you just have to go back through your fuel table like in other systems and smooth the whole thing out again. Yes. So just leave that modifier in the learning table and just call it a good day. So small values in the learning table, I'd just leave them alone and make sure they're sitting there doing their job because they read at the same time. Yeah. So it's like looking through an extra pane of glass with extra numbers to modify things. Now, when you have a really large set of numbers, 4-digit, big 3-digit, big red numbers with all kinds of crazy stuff going on, I'd go in and adjust your table and then let it relearn that, and you should be looking pretty good. But no, we're not going to do any copy to base at this time because our experiments with that has not turned out the most favorable results, as that doesn't work perfectly in other systems, and it's very hard to get it to work correctly in most any system. So what we got going on right now mathematically, and as we can tell in the tuning and how customers are doing, it works pretty daggone good. So I'm happy with it, but we don't see a huge need to change it right now.
All right. Question for Peter Finnerty. Finnerty? Finnerty, 6384. Hey guys, have you done a quick draw video yet? My question for it is how a manual mode enabled. Am I reading this correct? My question is how is manual mode enabled to use bump shift?
Neat.
We've not done a quick draw video yet.
Not yet.
That is something we should do.
So that's a really neat thing. I built a really sweet switch panel out of a bit of extra carbon fiber I had laying around off an old Blackhawk helicopter, and some really sweet switches I got out of a wrecked NASCAR. So
I believe the NASCAR thing, the Blackhawk helicopter, is that a thing?
I mean, yeah. What do you think I used to do for a living, Ben?
I do know what you used to do for a living. Anyway, moving on.
It's not carbon fiber. It's an aramid material. Ooh.
I have no idea how this happened. I mean, I do, but I don't. Anyway.
You know how it happens? The owner of Ace's Fuel Injection put this in my hands at my desk, and then I brought it here, and now we're staring at it. This was a funny thing, and now we got it.
I made it. I made the April Fool's joke.
Do you feel cool that you've done a thing that had a big positive, like, we need this?
See, that's the thing. Is this positive? I don't know. It's happening is what it is. So
I'm pretty excited about it. It's dope, man.
I did see somebody had a pink engine that they're building, and this would look awesome on their pink engine.
Yeah?
I think it was a 350, but I'm not sure. Anyway.
So anyways, back to it. How is manual mode enabled to use bump shift? Cool. I am going to do a video on that. We do have a quick draw on a truck. I made a really sweet switch panel out of carbon fiber and some old NASCAR switches. Very exciting. But the cool thing is I want to show it working. So it may be kind of janky because I'm using some momentary push buttons to bump it up and down, but there's like a high performance mode, a manual mode with a bump shift and all that jazz, and a couple of other really neat things that we've added into that. So I want to make sure to make a very thorough tech video on the TCM. So I'm going to introduce the product through the whole thing just like I'm doing the rest of my series. So the Aces Killshot, as soon as those video series are done, that's what I'm diving into next, is a trans control that's going to pair with it, because that'll be part of the Killshot stuff. That's the most common combination. So it's going to be stuff like ignition boxes and variations for the Killshot TCUs and things that attach to it, and all their functionality, wiring, and such, and all the little tips and tricks.
Right. Jose Torres HY5WG. Not plug and play, people, unless you buy their injectors and intake. Save the headache like me and go with the Holly Sniper. That's a lot. You can unpack so much out of that. First of all, being not plug and play. That's a big thing. So at least for us, plug and play is
we don't like the terminology.
We don't like the terminology of what that has come to mean. Because plug and play in some people's mind is just, hook it up and it works like perfectly. And it also means that you plug it in and then you change some values, tune it, or it's self-learn it. Like some things are just not the same. So there are some really cool things like classic products coming down the pipeline, and I'll let you get into that. But for the most part, a lot of our products are very close to that plug and play thing that we don't really like to call it, but you can still get it hooked up, plugged in, and running right most of the time.
The plug and play thing, that's one of those marketing terms that somebody come up with years and years ago with another company, and it looked really cool and it made people feel comfortable. We put it in our stuff for a very short amount of time and just didn't like the taste it made, because people will get it and they're like, this thing doesn't just plug and play. And I'm like, yeah, it takes a little bit of setup. And they're like, it's not plug and play if you got to set it up. It's not plug and play if you got to read the instructions. So we just kind of got away from that kind of terminology because we didn't like it, and it doesn't misrepresent the product.
Correct.
But it is more of a marketing thing, and we just didn't like it. We just rather be legit about it. Like, yeah, this is a very easy system to install, very easy system to set up, and and you have us on tech, so we do the best we can to answer all your questions too, and we're trying to put all this wonderful information, but getting away from the plug and play thing, I think, is a win for us because of the fact that it just almost misrepresents exactly what the spirit of the install is. Right. It bolts on easy. It installs easy. It sets up easy. You can adjust stuff easy. Even the tuning stuff. Even if you've never really messed with the software too much, even the new version of the tuning software that we're getting ready to put out, it's got great stuff in there that's going to help you go through and actually be more successful at doing a tune. If you're not a tuner, if you just got a basic idea and watch one of my ugly old videos off of YouTube, you're like, I got a pretty good idea how I can make that fuel table a little bit better. That's what we want. We want every single easy button we can find for the customer because we're listening to what you guys are saying. Plus, we got a pink Killshot. We got boost capability now. We got all kinds of interesting, great stuff because we're actually listening to you. That's the whole thing.
You get an ECU that's not connected to the throttle body.
That's
you
a plus.
Get a very well labeled wiring harness. You get a very quick and easy customer service support line, and then like you said, you can get in touch with our tech support service, which is Tim, Bradley, and TJ. They rock. And then on top of that, there's always email. Send in pictures, send in videos, stuff like that. We love to. We do everything that we possibly can for our customers to get them up and running and going in the right direction. Please, I would like to learn the advanced tuning software in its entirety. I just ordered a Killshot top-end kit, and it's going on a supercharged 383 stroker and replacing the blow-through carb with the Killshot. I'll be documenting the install and review on my channel. I would like to max things out and use everything available, every available feature and adjustment.
Anthony.
Inspiring.
If you haven't done it already, email techsupport@acezefi.com. One of my guys or myself, depending on if I'm asleep or not, or somewhere else in the world. We got a pile of of great tech documents that I've been pushing real hard to write about boost scaling, distributor stuff, and wonderful little tips and tricks about stuff. So these great tech documents, we don't mind throwing them all in an email and then send them to you. And that goes for anybody listening to this. If you want a pile of tech documents, just send us an email and say, "Can I get the tech documents?" And we will just attach them and send them back.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
Marty McSuperfly, 2226. Great video. Can you guys do a video about creating a tune for boost with a Killshot? There's a video that briefly touches on it, adjusting the tables for 300 kPa. Would be great to be having a timing AFR targets as part of the setup like a Holly sniper. Would be great to have an option to retard timing versus boost pressure on a wizard like a Holly sniper. Cool, good point. I totally agree. The thing is that I will be doing a video on some good old boosty tune stuff. I'm working on trying to get a supercharger or centrifugal setup. I do have a LS single turbo jackpot in an old farm truck of mine. And I will be doing some tuning on that now that we have the in-house dyno, and we're going to be doing everything from, turbo, centrifugal, root style, NA, big cam, little cam, exotic fuel stuff, open header, open loop tuning, and we're just going to try to document all this stuff and go through the whole shebang. There is some amazing features that even Ben doesn't know about. It's going to be in some of the newer software that's going to save people a lot of pain when it comes to scaling for boost. We're not going to necessarily have a setup for retard timing versus boost pressure, but that is something that's on my list to look into to see how good it will work with our system. It just... I only have so many software engineers to be handling some stuff like this. That's the thing.
I think you said something very important at the start, or a couple questions ago.
3 or 4 tangents ago.
We do our own stuff. So just because another company does something, the way that they have it set up, it may not work as well with our system, and that's something we have to figure out on a day-to-day basis. So, which I also think is really cool, like the Pepsi and Coke analogy. You like Coke, you like Pepsi. Anyway, Jed Saunders 7782. I think this is our last question. How waterproof are your systems? They're water resistant. I wouldn't go dumping the ECU in water.
So I did a funny thing. I installed a Killshot on my Tahoe. Now I'm sure y'all who stalk me on social media, which is about all 3 of you, I put a Killshot on, and I wanted to do some weird durability test. One of the things I did after I installed it is, that was back when we first released 210, so you can do the fuel table offset and handheld. That was great. I drove it like that for a long time. I did an RFI EMI test on it, so I got the main harness wrapped around my distributor cap and put about 1,000 miles on it going back and forth from here to Kentucky. And it ran like a champ. Didn't do anything funny. And I was trying to mess it up. I had an extra system in the truck. It was a whole thing. I was like, well, let's try to let the magic smoke out in your normal configuration. Right. I didn't do great wiring. I didn't do anything else. I wanted it to fail, and it didn't. Eventually, I changed it over to be a Joker system, so it's awesome. So one thing I did do is I got the relays off my firewall, and I flipped them upside down and unprotected a few things, and pressure washed under the hood. I did wash out the relays, which was a really neat thing because of how it acted. So it was like surging, clicking the relays on and off, on and off. That was good fun. After I cleaned all that out and then I started it back up and I was running it, I hosed down the ECU for quite a spell and still didn't quite get as much moisture as I thought I was going to get into it. So it can take a pretty good hit of water. I would not submerge it because it does have a barometric pressure port in the back of it, and it's not totally watertight. There's a bit of a membrane in there, but even submerged, that thing will seep through a little bit. And it really depended on the water because if it has really good surface tension, it's not really going to seep through too much because it's a whole thing. But I hosed the thing down for quite a spell. The only water I got was in the connectors, which corroded a few pins after it set for a few days. Took it back apart inspected a thing, realized it was just fine, plugged it back in, still ran it. Now that thing is on my dump truck, which I got to go tune this weekend.
Sick. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching this episode of Tech Tuesday. If you liked it, please leave a like down below. If you have any questions about EFI in general or ACES EFI, please leave a comment down below. If you see Tech Tuesday Media anywhere else on social media, feel free to send it some love, including this pink Killshot coming very soon. I've got some ideas for this stuff, as well as I believe we're making, like, there's a lot of these. I'm not going to say how many. There's a good amount.
Or if you guys want me to run this thing on something.
Well, it's just, yes.
Maybe,
same thing.
Maybe I'll run it on the Jackpot TBI project.
Raise your hand if you want one of these. Anyway.
Raise your hand if you own
Thanks
one.
again so much for watching, guys. We will see all of you in the next video. Bye for now.
Bye now.